Hello everyone, this is Al from Open Source Channel. Welcome, new episode. Today I'm going to talk about JetAppointment. But before we start, don't forget to hit subscribe, click on the bell icon so you can get notified when I publish new videos. Also, don't forget to like and share. By sharing, you helping me and helping this channel grow faster. So without any delay, let's go and jump in WordPress. Anyway, you can go to crocoblock.com, plugins, JetAppointment. Here is the actual plugin we're going to look at. To make this to work, you need Elementor and also you will need Jet Engine. Here I got a copy of WordPress with the Jet Engine, Elementor, WooCommerce as well. Yes, you need WooCommerce as well to get the payment. And as you can see, I got Jet Engine, I got JetAppointment booking, I got Elementor, and I got WooCommerce as well. For this demonstration, I have already created a page and I have called it services. I have edited the actual page in Elementor, and what I done, I created a structure with two sides, and on each one of them I have load the actual plugin form. As you can see here, edit form. If I go to the widget and I'm going to click on Jet form, I'm going to search it first. Here we go, that's the actual form here. All right, so I'm going to go out of here and we're going to start by creating in Jet Engine some post types. All right, for this demonstration, I'm going to create two types of post types. I'm going to click on new. I'm going to call it services. The slug is going to be services without, in lowercase. For labels, you can leave it as this is kind of optional, or you can actually rename as you want. For example, add a new item, you can actually change it to add new services. This does it automatically. So what you got to do, just click on the field here and it says add new and then services, as you can see here. And you can do exactly the same over here as well. Okay, as you can see, it does it for you. All you got to do is just change and add the word services. So once that has been done, I'm going to the advanced settings and make sure it is public. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it as a rewrite slide here. Tab is going to be post. I'm going to change the icon to something more that I need. And for the support, I'm going to do also custom fields and auto. I'm going to add a meta fields. So for this one, I'm going to call it engineer. It's going to be a field. I'm going to leave it as text. And I make it required. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to press add the post type. I'm going to create a new one, post type, and I'm going to call it providers. In this case, I'm going to say just provider. Again, labels, you can leave it as it is. This time I'm going to leave it. I'm going to change the icon with this one, and I'm going to also add new register support, auto, post format, and custom fields as well. For this one, I'm going to call it service. And I'm make it not required this time. Once I'm happy, I'm going to say add post type. Now, once that's been done, we go to start the appointments. So let's go back here we're going to set up everything. So this is where you start to set up. I'm going to reset this one because I done it before. So I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So when you install the actual plugin, this is where you start the setup, and that's the 4 steps, very easy to follow. So the service post type, I'm going to call services. As you know, we done it. I'm going to add the providers. In this case, it's going to be the provider. And I'm going to go to next. Here, I'm going to add, okay, these ones are defaults. Okay, that's the one that comes with the actual plugins. And you can actually add more in, database information if you want. In this case, I cannot see, for example, phone number. So I'm going to say new DB column, and I'm going to call it phone number. Then I'm going to do next. And now we got the setup working hours. Now I'm going to leave it this as it is, as I'm going to use it based on the individual, in this case the engineer. Now what I'm trying to do here, I'm going to recreate a booking appointment form to book a web designer or any individual, any professional individual for a particular service. So done that, I'm going to go to next. I'm going to make it WooCommerce integration because I want to get paid as well for it. And I'm going to choose where do I want to create the form. So I'm going to choose the Jet engine. I'm going to say create single service booking form and create simple page booking form. So you can actually see both of them. I'm going to press finish, and this part is done. As you can see here, the post type has been done, and you can manage both the service and the providers. The WooCommerce integration has been done. The created forms also are being done as well. So I'm going to the plugin settings. Here you can actually manage the capacity. Now I'm going to make it simple and sleek, so you don't get a little bit overwhelmed with this. It's not simple to really set up, so I want to try to get as simple as possible. The working hours, as I said, I'm leaving as it is. I'm not going to change anything. Perhaps I'm only going to change, well, no, I'm leaving this because I'm happy with the actual format as well. But I'm leaving this, and again, this comes as a standard. All right. So what has been done, as you can see on the left pane, we got the providers and we got the services. Now let's go to labels first a second. You can use custom labels, yeah, but again, I'm not going to use that. Advanced. Now, for example, if you do this for a client in advanced, you might, and I say you might, want to check this up. So what happens, you can actually hide the setup wizard. As you can see here in appointments, you go to setup. So to make sure they don't make any problem with the website, that they couldn't call you and you're going to waste your time to understand what's going on, it is viable to hide the setup wizard. In this case, I'm going to do it. This is just a demonstration. If you use it for yourself, you might want to leave this unchecked. So we've done that. So let's go back to tools. Let's see. Now, as you can see, we did add the phone number because it was not in the database. So we're happy with that. Now let's go to providers and let's start add a provider. Now the actual provider in this case for us is going to be the engineer, the web designer, whoever you want to be. Okay. So I'm going to call it, for example, engineer. The price per engineer, this is the per slot, and I'm going to show you, for example, when I'm going to do the schedule for the services. For example, let's go and say we're going to charge $15 or £15 or whatever, euros or whatever. I'm saying 15, for example. And here for the service, I'm going to call it, for example, in my case, for example, let's call web designer, or you could say consultant if you want to. right? Now I'm going to add a custom schedule for this particular engineer. Okay, you can actually add a name of that engineer if you want to as well. So I'm going to leave it as it is just to make it easy for you. Okay, and I'm only going to change this. Let's say the actual slot, I'm going to change it to 15 minutes at a time. So in this case, it will be, let's go up, $15, for example, for 15 minutes. Right? So if you think it's too much, you can go down to 10. It doesn't matter. This is just to show you. Now, how much buffer time you need before the slot? So, for example, in an hour, you don't want 4 people on you, just in case anything happens. Say, for example, after each, I don't know, customer, you want 20 minutes. So I'm going to say 20 minutes. I think this is actually hours, so we don't want to do that. We want to do this time. There we go, that's 20 minutes. And before that, so let's say just 5 minutes. That will be 25 minutes, if that makes sense, all right? And you can add this one, and what it is, if the appointment is made and there is less than a certain amount of time, say 5, 10 minutes, whatever, the appointments won't be available. I'm going to leave this to make it easy off. Now here you can actually add days off. Say for example, as it was before on the other page, I'm going to say Christmas, holiday here, starting date, let's go to December. Here we go. I'm gonna say the last day of work is 17. We're gonna take it easy. We go back in January, come back on the 4th or whatever, doesn't really matter, and I'm gonna save that. Now you can actually do working days as well, for example which days, but again I'm gonna make it easy, right? Now, which related services? As you know, we haven't done that yet, so I'm going to just publish, because what you could do, you can actually select in this case it will be the engineer on the service part of it. So I'm going to publish that, and I'm going to show you later what I'm talking about. Let's go back and let's create 2 services. I'm going to services, I'm going to add a new, and the first one, let's call it WordPress installation. Okay, and as you can see, select the provider. In this case, we're going to say engineer. There we go. Price per slot, I'm going to leave it because we already got the price on the engineer. In this case, you don't have the conflict. The engineer, we're going to say service or consult. It is up to you. This is just for your information, okay? Or you can actually add the name of the actual engineer. Again, it's up to you. And for the custom schedule, I'm going to leave it because, as I said, we have that already made on the engineer side of it, okay? On the actual provider in that case. Now, if I go back to providers, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Providers, provider. If I'm going to edit this one here now, on the right side, where we didn't put the service, we got the WordPress installation already made. Now, you can have multiple services. That's up to you. I'm going to just make it easy. I'm going to make one. But if you make a second one, for example, okay, let's do this. I think it's much easier if we just do it than anything else. Let's say WordPress maintenance. Again, I'm going to do exactly the same. No price per slot. again engineer, consultant here, and I'm going to publish here as well. So as you can see, that has been done. Let's go back on the services. So we got 2 services and we got 1 provider, okay, and we already got the slots. Now that is the actual page that I showed you there, all right, that I had already to the 2 form already put it there in the page. I didn't want to bore you and waste the time on how to do it. And now we got one on the left here, and that is a single service. Now before I do that, okay, let's go to Jet Engine, because otherwise you're thinking, what are you talking about, Al? If I go to forms, those ones were created when we done the appointment setup, okay? Also the WooCommerce information was already created. So let's go back here. You don't have to do anything on this. So let's go on this one here. There we go. So on this one here, I'm gonna choose single service. And on this one here, I'm going to choose the static version. And I'm going to update. Now, if you remember, we add the phone number. Now let's go back here a second. And let's go on each one of them and let's have a look. I'm going to the single service booking form first, and I'm going to press edit. And as you can see here, we don't have the field. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the field. I'm going to edit. I'm going to choose number. The label is going to be, let's go, let's say phone number here. I'm going to make sure it's required. Again, it's up to you if you don't want to make it required. I'm going to apply the changes. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to move the book now button below the phone number. I'm going to update just in case I lose. Then I'm going to edit the insert appointment. And on the field here, I want the phone number. Okay. And again, I'm going to press update. Now this is the single service. Okay. Let's go back to the forms. I'm going to the static and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to add the field, edit, phone number, the label again, phone number. Again, I'm going to make it required and I'm going to press apply. Again, insert appointment. Field is going to be phone number. And I'm going to press update. There we go. So let's go here. Let me refresh that. Let me remove this one for a second. So now we got the two WordPress. We got the engineer. You can actually add that one in, but again, it looks like I didn't do this. Book now, update. We need to change it, otherwise you will get the phone number below the booking button there. So alright, now we got both forms on the same page. Just to test it out, we can see now that we got the right composition, except of the static. We haven't finished that yet. Now if I go back to the WordPress and I'll go to pages, for example, I go here multiple pages that I have created. For example, you can see here I got one for single service, or service single, I named it. Now if I go this one here, we got the service single. In this case, we're talking about this particular one here, okay? So let me show you how it actually works. It's very simple. You put the email address in it, then you go select a provider. I add us an extra one, but let's put engineer. Now I'm going to select my date. Say it's going to be on the 29th. And I'm going to choose my slot here. That's the 15-minute slot. 12:50, 13:05. Then I'm going to add my phone number. Then I'm going to press book now. As you can see, we got the checkout. Now I haven't set up the actual checkout, the actual payment system, as you can see here. But you can see the way it goes here, right? And you can place the order once you put all your information here, okay? I'm not going to do this. This is not the actual WooCommerce tutorial. It's based on JetAppointment. So let's go back to the appointment plugin. I'm going to go on the appointments, and as you can see here, we actually got the appointment, and it says on hold because we haven't paid. All right, now if we paid, you have a different option here. Okay, you got also completed. In that case, it will be completed, cancelled, refunded, failed, and this is all the integration with WooCommerce, so it will be done in automatic. I'm gonna close this one here. Let me show you the other one. So this was the actual single. Let me go back to the dashboard. Let's go to pages. And I'm going to the other one actually static, okay? Now, as you can see here, the other one is static. Now here is not showing the calendar, but here it is. Now, on this one, I made a mistake. This is the reason why now you can find Algas as well. It looks like you got to put 2 engineers because there are 2. Some kind of a conflict. So I think I had to add an extra provider. Technically, that's all I have to do. And now you can see here the correct code is coming. I copied the correct code from the. Let me show you. Actually, it's much better if I do this rather than telling you. If I go back to Elementor, when I done the form, the actual static that I actually added earlier on as well, all I done was edit form and then save it again, or update in this case for me, right? So when I done that, let me do this here and update. So now when I go out, somehow it will give me the option to show the actual page with the proper form with the actual calendar there, as you can see here. Okay, I hope it makes sense. So engineer, on this one I also change, as you can see, it goes red. 23 is like 23rd is today, so it's going blue. That's the current date. Red when you hover on top of it. If I click, it goes green, as you can see. Then again green as well when I'm going to choose the actual timing. Email address again, phone number I'm going to put whatever, and I'm going to say book now and it should automatically send me to the checkout with the correct amount of money. And I can place the order again if I had, for example, the correct payment system installed. Now, when I'm going to refresh this page, we should have 2 bookings, as you can see here, for both the engineer, okay? Those are the dates, time, and whatever, and both are on hold. So this is how simple it actually is to install and get started with JetAppointment. Don't forget to look at the description below. You'll find all the links you need. Some of the links are affiliates, so I can earn some money, so I can make more tutorials and help grow to this channel. To you, it won't cost you any extra money, so be assured for that. So thanks guys again for being here today with me for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did making it, and I'll see you next time.